Hey everyone, welcome back to another interesting episode. I've got a great guest today, Michael Reimer. He's needs no introduction in the high-level ecosystem. He specializes in all things AI, and he works directly with the high-level team to give them feedback about the functionality of the AI suite of tools. So I have attended Michael's talks in different online sessions. I couldn't hear him speak at Dallas, but I did watch the recording, and he's always very, very generous with his wealth of knowledge. So he recently published this book called Starting an AI Agency. I'm reading, you can see I've bookmarked it. So it's a great resource for anyone who is planning to start an AI agency. In 2026, every business needs AI, but I think Michael is the right person to tell you not to overcomplicate it and just get started, right? So there's going to be tons of resources available. So listen to the complete episodes where he talks about if you're a newbie, how can you start with AI? If you want to scale and start an AI agency, what are the different steps that you need to take to start an AI agency? How can you use high level to leverage and fast track your success, and also his resources and boot camps that's going to come up very, very shortly. So listen to the entire episode for all the bonus resources that Michael is going to share with you today. So let's get to today's episode. All right. Hello, Michael. Welcome to the HL Growth Partner podcast. I am super excited to have you here today, and I've been on multiple webinars and online events. We met in person in Dallas, and you're always generous with your knowledge and resources. So, welcome today.
Thank you so much for having me, Priya. I really appreciate it. It's so nice to connect with you again for sure.
Sure. So Michael Rima is a pretty famous name in the high level ecosystem, very specifically affiliated with AI. Anything related to AI, Michael Rima is the go to person. So for people outside of the high level ecosystem, people who have not crossed paths with the brand Michael Rima itself, can you please give them a little bit of introduction about you and what you do?
Okay, yeah, no problem. I don't really like to talk about myself, but I'll give you a quick 30-second overview. Um, so I did 30 years on the fire department, got hired when I was 18, retired when I was 48 after 30 years. And then I started up a marine company. We work on mega yachts. We do IT on mega yachts for most of the celebrities in South Florida, US. And then we wanted to automate that business. And then I started looking into various solutions and I found High Level. And then once I got involved in High Level, I started really deep diving into AI. And this was about 3.5, 4 years ago. And really, AI was around, but really not a lot of people really were practicing it or learning it, or entrenched in it, or utilizing it day to day like we are now. So that's all I did, like pretty much 24/7, 365 is really focus on that. And then help people in the high level community because, like I said, I took a liking to the AI space. And I'm so happy I did because I got to meet so many wonderful people, including you. So it's really, really nice. It's just really, it's been refreshing, and it's been such a whirlwind because things change every single hour of every single day, and I think that's what keeps it interesting.
Yeah, and I think you and I have this very unconventional pathway to the high level ecosystem. So, me being an academician and being a self taught marketer, but you have a completely different career path from fire department and marine yard. So, how or why the big leap from the traditional, career, and how were you kind of futuristic into the AI space 4 years ago?
So basically, like I mentioned, I was forced to retire at 48 because I did 30 years. They make you go. So I said, I sat at home for 6 months. My wife's like, "You got to get out of here. You're driving me crazy." And I've done everything on her list that I could possibly do. And I said, I'm going to start a marine business because I really enjoy boating. And I like the tech side. I've always been into tech ever since I was a young kid. And Mac computers and Windows and all that kind of thing. And then basically, I started the marine company, and we specialized in high end electronics and automations on boats. So like home automations, but on a big yacht. So that's what we did. We deal with Jeff Bezos's boat, his wife's boat, pretty much everybody around that is any type of celebrity, but normal people too. That's fine. And then with that, I we were in Nashville actually looking at a piece of equipment for the marine business, and there was a session there on using AI in your business. And I was like, I don't really know much about that, so I'm going to pop in there. This is like I said, 4 years ago. Went in there. Some people in there really knew a little bit about AI, and now looking back on it, they're using really consumer tools, not like we're doing today. Obviously, I mean, it's come a long way in 3 or 4 years. And then I said to myself, I said, when I left there, I was blessed because my marine company could run on its own because I had a really great team. And I said, you know what? I really want to utilize this technology to automate my marine business because I think it's awesome and it would save me because here, listen, I was a classic. Like we had great customers. They would come in, do business with us, give us great reviews. And guess what? I wouldn't talk to them for another year if they came back. And then some of them would come back 2 years later, and I'm like, "Oh, when was the last time we saw you?" "Oh, it's 2 years ago." And they're supposed to be back every year. So, we were very bad at following up and keeping tabs of the customers. So we learned from that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to automate this entire business. And then I said, you know what? And a lot of people do this in the high level ecosystem, which I'm sure you know this. Then you say, oh, I'm going to automate other marine businesses. And then you're like, why stop there? I'm going to automate any business. And then I just got into the AI space and I really have focused on that primarily because as you're aware, you've been around, you open up high level. I think I mean, the last time I counted like 648 features. I mean, if you think you're going to automate, utilize every one of those, you're in for a rude awakening. So, I got into doing voice and, I learned a lot because I built all these voice agents. I think to date, roughly around 2,500 I've built in high level and various other platforms, and it's very difficult to sell them. It's not as easy as people think. I mean, because you're competing against the App Store and you're competing against so many different platforms. So it's really difficult, but I've developed some ways to sell those. And it's really taken off, and I've been helping people do that. And then, like I said earlier, I mean, I've been blessed. So high level, I do work for them. I evaluate a lot of their AI stuff. I work with the development team, which I love because they're brilliant, obviously. And all I do is bring in the business, side of things because they're used to dealing with, the tech side, but they don't know how to interface that tech side typically with a working business. And that's kind of where I fill the gap.
Yeah. So, what aspect of your previous business helped you fast track? Because I'm pretty sure, in a very short amount of time, you have really made that mark because of your involvement in the AI space. You've really niched down. But I'm pretty sure there must be some kind of transferable skills. Like you said, you were a tech driven person, right?
I think it
So,
would
what do
be
you think was
twofold.
that
Number
transferable skill that
one,
helped you
I
to
know how to
fast track?
talk to people, so it's easy for me. So, like, when I'm dealing on the high level side, not only me, I'm very techy. I can handle the tech side, but I also know how to sell it and deploy it. Um, I'm into systems, so I'm very system driven. I like systems. I like things organized. Just that's how I'm wired, and that has helped me as well. So that is huge. Just having previous business knowledge. I mean, we had a big company. We had a pretty. I've had two other companies. One had about 300 employees, and my marine business had about 25 employees. And just doing that day to day and learning the hard way, it would allowed me to fast track. And just how I'm wired, Priya, is like if I'm gonna do something, I'm not gonna dabble in it. It's either gonna be like, hey, listen, we're all in here, or we're not gonna do it because that's just my how I'm wired and it's my personality. So if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be the best I can be. And if not, then I'll step aside, let somebody else do
I
it.
know. I think you are very driven and you just want to get stuff done. That's your style. So even when I saw the webinar that you did with the bot mock-up guy, you were like, just get to the meat and potatoes. I don't want to talk anything else. Just get to the so you were very focused that way. So I mean, I'm the same. So there are some things that frustrates me, being that person who just wants to cut the BS and get to things. So is there anything in the AI implementation world that frustrates you? When people do this, it really frustrates you.
Um, I would have to say, like, so a lot of the AI stuff is very subjective. Some people love it, some people don't like it. Some people don't like it, but they've never even tried it, and that like frustrates me. Helping other people that are in high level, the thing that really frustrates me the most is that they don't go for it. They sit there and dabble and dabble and dabble until they fade out or run out of money or time or interest or whatever. So, if I could say anything to anyone out there listening, that would be just launch it. And just launch it and deal with it later. Like, deal with the fulfillment later. And you don't need all these crazy demos and you don't need all of that. I mean, you could deploy a voice demo just by having a phone number and have them call it in 5 minutes. You don't need to have all this extravagant demos and website crazy stuff. You know, that's really that's the main thing that really frustrates me, because that's what really washes out a lot of great people is they ponder until they're paralyzed and then they fizzle out because either they've lost interest or give up, you know. And I just all they have to do is just reach out to 20 people a week and somebody's going to say yes. And you can't be afraid when somebody says no. I mean, most of the people are going to say no. That's just how it is. If you don't like someone saying no, then you know maybe
You're bad.
it's not going to be a great fit. But most people are going to say no. I mean, out of the just do the numbers, and that's that. The other thing is, utilize your resources. Some people, what I've seen, uh there's three types of people. There's some that like to sell and they're very good sellers. They're great at talking to people and they can sell like crazy and do a very good job at that. And then there's other people that like to build, so they like to do the behind the scenes thing. I try to link them up somehow, but it doesn't always work. But that's fine. There's a place for everyone. So if you're a seller, get somebody to fulfill for you. And if you're a builder, then maybe fulfill for other agencies. You know, there's plenty of work out there to do that. I've never dreamed I would be working for other agencies. And the majority of our work is other agency work now, which is very surprising to me because in my marine business, we consider those competitors, but in the high level environment, in this environment, I don't consider that at all because I mean, I never would dream that I have clients in the UK. I would never dream I'd have clients in India. I never would dream I'd have clients in Australia. Like it baffled me. So, I mean, there's plenty of work out there for everyone. So I don't really consider anyone a competitor. You just got to work out the details that makes it work for everyone.
I think more and more people need to listen to this because I keep saying this, like no one is a competitor for anyone. All of us have our own style of doing things. We have our own values that people align with. So collaborate over compete is kind of my mantra. And after visiting Dallas, I really found the same thing what you said. There's so much work around. Everybody gets access to this amazing platform, but most of them are marketers. They love to sell. I'm the same. I love to sell. I wouldn't consider myself a builder, but I wanted to understand the platform. That's why I did the certification and do all these certifications. So I understand how it's done, but I don't like doing the job. That's why I've got a team to deliver it, because that's not something that I enjoy doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfect. You hit the nail on the head. I agree, 100%. And believe it or not, I mean, I try to give away a lot of the resources that I have to help other people because I mean, that's twofold. Number one, to me, money is a poor motivator. It's not the best motivator. If you're going to be fully driven by money, then that's probably not great. You got to be motivated by accomplishing something and seeing it through. That's how I like to operate. But, you know, So I have a lot of assets that we've developed. I mean, what do I do? Sit with them in my Google Drive and leave them there? I mean, people give me a hard time that I share them, but at the end of the day, if somebody can use something, that's fine. I'll just keep making more stuff and you guys can keep using it. That's great. I don't mind. So, there's just a lot of opportunity to meet great people, work with great clients, honestly. One of the big things I enjoy in this space is I really enjoy the VAs, honestly. I mean, getting to meet people from all over the world, basically treat them like family, and they will really want to do well too. I mean, they want to work, man. They don't want to, play games. They want to do the job, and that really motivates me. Um, I like developing a team and having a teamwork environment, and that's really my motivator.
Yeah. And for anyone listening who is just starting out with AI, who's just starting with high level, what would be your piece of advice to just start? I know you asked them to just start, like just Nike, like just do it.
No, I mean,
But where do they start?
yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, I'll never forget the first time I signed into my high level account and I got on that Facebook group and I was, asking when I look back now, it's probably silly questions, but that's fine. You got to start somewhere. So don't give up. There's plenty of resources out there. Reach out to people and ask them to help. Not a problem. Post questions in the group. Don't get overwhelmed. I mean, don't try to do too much too fast. You're not going to deploy every feature in high level and you're not going to be an expert in high level. I would say the average to get a good grasp on that platform is about a year. Um, if I can recommend anything, would be pick 5 features and learn them very well. And then guess what's going to happen? You're going to learn number 6 and you're going to learn number 7 and you're going to learn number 8. And the other thing is I highly, and I think we spoke about this, I highly recommend the admin program. The admin program probably saved me, not so much that I wanna be in the directory and all that, that's great. I do it because, I like being in the directory, I do get, people reach out to me there, that's fine. But I'm addicted to education, and the biggest thing with that program is it held my feet to the fire. So even though it's a small monetary, deal every month, it's like $97 a month to be there. That $97 a month made me do those lessons, made me do the part A, and it made me do the part B. And then was I an expert when I got out of there with that admin? No, I don't think I was. But it gave me a good baseline that I think I can fall back on. It really made me learn the platform. There's a lot to it, obviously. I mean, you've done it, So that is huge. That's one thing. And then the last thing on the AI side, I stress this a lot is like instead of learning all these silly tools, don't go for those because there's always going to be something. I mean, I see posts all over the place and they're like, "Oh, what voice platform do you like? You want to go to this one and that one and this one and that one." Listen, utilize what's available to you right now. There's always time for moving around later. Just use what they have. I use it day in and day out. I have no problem with it and I have a zillion clients on it that don't have a problem with it. But people try to go for the shiny objects and that, and that's just a distract. I think it's 2 things. It's a distraction and it's procrastination. That's a way of procrastinating instead of just getting your stuff together and launching. That's how I feel now. What do I suggest from somebody that's just starting out on the AI side is really to get your prompting under control and learn that, because prompting is like the universal AI language. You can use it on all of these tools, and it's very important because if you can talk to the AI properly, you're going to get a better result coming out the other side. So don't worry about all these little, you know, AI software, programs and products. It's not really important. Learn how to prompt properly. There's free courses. OpenAI has them. Google has them. They're out there. YouTube has them, obviously. So I would suggest focusing on that, but really get your offer and get a few features at high level and launch and get on your feet. And then there's plenty of time to explore once you have clients.
Yeah. I think people just overthink and overcomplicate, like you said. They go after the next flashy stuff instead of focusing on the basic foundation, which is just selling and getting people to buy whatever you're selling. So I think that's the main part that people miss out on. So I know you've seen the transition of high level AI where it was few years ago, and I know you played a very pivotal role in testing and giving them feedback and improvements. So, with that kind of experience, where do you see this going? What do you foresee for the rest of 2026 and 2027?
Um, so let me put that in perspective. So right now, high level as around four in the AI development portion of high level, they got about 40 developers. Probably in the next 30 days, they're gonna probably have 110 developers. So they're expanding, they're all in on it. They're really, focusing on the product, but also, I know this for sure because I'm working with them on it. They're really focused on back end security, and they're also focused on partnerships. Because if you've seen what they've done in the last year, they partner with OpenAI and Google both in the platform, which is huge. And then lastly, they're also focused on the AI side and expanding those features and cleaning up the UI across the board. And to me, that's huge. So I know we've talked about Agent Studio. That's a sleeper. Like no one's really embracing that feature, and I've been involved in that feature. I don't know, 3 months prior to its release, and I work with the development team on it a lot, and it's come a long way. It reminds me so much of when I first got involved in the AI voice arena with High Level when they first released it. Like, remember just a few years ago, you couldn't book an appointment on the calendar. You had to get a text and you had to deal with that. That they're evolving. They're not numb to this. They know there's a heck of a roadmap behind the scenes. So there's a lot going on. These agents, they're going to have memory across the board. So that's huge to me. You know, One of the big advantages to me to high level is, they hold the integration card and it's fully integrated. So if you take something from the outside, you plug it in, yeah, it's integrated, but is it fully integrated? And I think you're going to start seeing that. That's going to be the key. So when you send an email, that voice agent's going to know what you said in the email. When you send an SMS, that voice agent's going to know. When you're on the phone, the SMS is going to know, all across the board. So, I mean, they're making monumental leaps actually in all of that stuff. I mean, they're not just idle behind the scenes. These guys are working hard.
So, from an Australian context, Aussies are built different. I'm sure this year, when we have a high level event, I would love for you to come and see Australia firsthand.
For sure.
They're very, very laid back, and change management is huge, especially when it comes to AI. A lot of people, I used to be part of BNI, and when I first introduced them the concept of AI, they are like, oh, I don't want to get rid of my staff members, or I don't want to fire my team, or AI. No. So there was so much pushback. And I would have my BNI chapter members having their 45-second spill against AI. So anti AI kind of spill. That's why I had to quit. I was like, you know what, this is not worth my time. But um, I'm just saying, Australia is a different market, and such objections to technology because they like it, they hate it, it's going to stay, and that's my response to them. You like it, you don't like it, your competitor is going to pick it up and run faster than you, right? That'll be my personal response to those objections. So if it was you, how would you handle it when people say, they're so anti AI, they feel threatened, or they just don't want to deal with it because it's their ignorance? How would you
Yeah,
deal
I
with
mean,
it?
I see it. When we deploy voice agents, there's a lot of people that they're like, no way, they don't want to give up their phone number. I get it. Start on baby steps, just have it answer when you can't. Is there a big objection to that? Like you're gonna pick up the phone when your regular staff doesn't get it. Maybe that's at midnight on Sunday or on a holiday or whatever, or they're at lunch or doing something else in the office. The AI agent's going to pick it up. You're going to have about 66% more coverage just doing that. So what's the objection to that really? I mean, either let it go unanswered or letting it pick up by AI. But back more global to what you just said is that, you know, to me, I would describe AI as a time compressor. That's how I feel. Like what I used to be able to do in 8 hours, now it takes me 2 or 3, perhaps. And I still have that other, 6 or 7 hours or 5 hours, whatever, to do other things that's probably a little bit more important that I should be doing anyway. I mean, honestly, I could say, I mean, I've deployed like a lot of these for a lot of companies, and I've never really seen any of people getting laid off, you know. Generally, they're getting repurposed to do other things. So they're
Sorry, Michael, go on.
you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So they're getting repurposed, doing what they probably should be doing, or maybe they're doing things in that business that, the owner or uh, operating officer, or whatever, wants to do in that business to maybe engage more with customers, perhaps, or, put better systems in place that AI can't handle. So to me, it's a no brainer. Like you mentioned earlier, I mean, what are you going to do? You're there's going to be companies right behind you. They're going to do it. And I just know for me, like I deal with AI all day long, probably, I hate to say it, probably 16 or 18 hours a day. So the bottom line is there's no possible way you can keep up with that pace, you know, not possible. So what do? You're either going to be doing it or, you know, you're probably going to get overrun. Honestly, I just don't see it physically that you can't physically do it. I mean, I just look at what I've generated in the last year. I've generated more content and more, stuff in the last 12 months than I have probably in my entire life, and AI plays a lot in that, because I'm automating a lot of my own stuff behind the scenes and it just allows me to do other things.
Exactly. And that's the thing, right? You walk the walk, you implement it for your own business, you've helped, thousands of people do it. And also, I don't think anyone can claim an authority without this book. And I mean, you can see I've made notes, I have my pencil, and which means that makes me think because not a lot of book makes you think and make notes and implement it straight away. And I love you are focused on implementation at every chapter, every step of this book as well. I've got this love hate relationship with marketing agencies, just marketers in general. One of my accountant client tells me, Priya, you belong to the bullshit industry. Marketers bullshit a lot, and she's not wrong. So now everyone claims to be an AI agency owner or can help you start an AI agency owner. And but I think you've got complete authority and proof to advise aspiring AI agency owners. I'm sure, I mean, anyone, if there's one investment that you're doing, this will be the no brainer investment to buy this book. I'm from the other side of the world from Michael, and I bought this book off Amazon. So I'll leave the link in the show notes. You can go and search and buy the book. That'll be the best investment. But very briefly, Michael, just tell us if someone wants to start an AI agency. This is, let's go back to 2019 when Ty Lopez and the other guy on YouTube helped everybody start a social media marketing agency, right? So we are in that reinvention era in 2026. So if someone wants to start an AI agency, if you can tell them simple steps before they can get their hands, while they're desperately waiting for your book to land in their post box, what can they do, or what are the simple steps that they can do to kickstart?
Well, you hit a lot of great points. 3 years ago there weren't a lot of AI agencies out there, but they're starting like people that I know now have shifted into that, and that's fine. They're definitely going to take a little time to catch up, to those who have been doing it a lot longer than that. But as far as implementing an AI agency, there's two ways to look at that. One is do you want to start an AI agency, which is great? That's awesome. That means you're going to deploy AI. Or do you want to have an agency that you utilize AI in that agency? So you could have a traditional agency and just embrace AI in your own business, or you can actually deploy it for others. If you're going to deploy it for others, I would suggest keeping it very focused. And keep it very narrow, meaning not so much like niche down. I know, I know there's a lot of people in the high level system that says, "Oh, you have to have a niche and all that." When I deploy, I don't need a niche. I can go to anybody under the sun and do what I do. I would keep those features very narrow and keep it focused, because if you start doing come out of the gate and start doing custom AI builds, you're going to get bogged down. You're probably not going to make very much money, and you're probably not going to be successful because those are more complex than you think. So if I'm going to start with a few key features, build an offer around those, deploy it yourself without any help, and then start to look after you've done that a few times, then start to look for help and build a team to help you. But you got to get your arms around it first, because I mean, Priya, if you hire a VA, you're going to have to help them get ramped up. So if you don't have any idea, and then the VA has no idea, then where are we at? It's not going to be a great outcome. So keep the features down, deploy it over and over, make it repeatable, and that's it. And then start slow. From there, people are going to ask you to do other things. They do. Hey, can you do XYZ? Well, that's going to be a personal choice. Some you may say no, regardless of how much money they throw at you, because they could throw a lot of money at you and be like, "Hey, I'm going to pay you XYZ to do this," but it's going to take so much of your time. Whereas you could have sold 20 of the widgets that are easy to deploy and made more money that way, and you could sleep at night. So you know that's what they're going to have to realize. I would suggest, honestly, high level is an amazing platform. I would suggest getting in that high level group, the Facebook group. It's free. Ask around. Always check there. If questions that you have may have been answered by using the search feature, reach out to me. I'm around in there. You can DM me. That's fine. I don't have any problem helping people. But learn and dive in. You're going to be pleasantly surprised for sure.
Is there a surprising case study that you can share with us, like somebody who came in and just got some value nuggets from you, and then he just blew up his whole business or career?
We're doing that a lot lately, honestly. I mean, we've impacted a lot of people, even, you know, we have a school community that's growing, and I do coaching calls there every Tuesday and Thursday mornings, and then we do a webinar every Thursday evening, typically, try to do one a week. Um, I go in there and help people, and I've had some really good, they've had a lot of great accomplishments. One in particular, I got a testimonial. I woke up to it unsolicited in my email. He actually attended my session at Level Up. He was a HubSpot user, came over from HubSpot, and came over because HubSpot, as you know, is very expensive, and settled in high level, and he was kind of feeling his way around. He attended my session at Level Up, and I showed him 5 features that I think everyone can utilize, both as an AI agency, but also every business needs. And then he went out and did it, and he followed exactly what I said, and went after a high ticket client. And 2 days later, he landed his first one. And since then, the next few weeks, he landed 3 more high ticket, $10,000 setup, $5,000 a month clients. Pretty good case study there for sure. But we have a lot of those, and they don't have to be high ticket. A lot of these people, maybe they're stay at home mom and they're just, able to stay home with their kids. That's good enough for me. Right. So,
Exactly. Any expensive mistakes or horror stories?
um, well, there's always mistakes. That's no problem. I mean, just be careful of all your subscriptions is all I can say. You know how that goes. They start creeping up, and all of a sudden you're like, you're spending thousands of dollars a month in subscriptions. I really keep an eye on that. I don't go for anything typically. I just keep it in high level and a few very small subscriptions. I really try to be cognizant of that, and it does everything I need. So
Yeah.
As far as expensive mistakes, nah, not really. I mean, it's a pretty forgiving thing. I don't bite off more than I can chew. I say no if I'm not sure, or I say no if it's out of my lane. I say no if I think it's gonna bog me down.
Yeah. What's your take on vibe coding?
Um, so I vibe code now. I use a couple of different platforms. I use Lovable for one, and I use Replit as well. They have their place. I don't want to be an app salesman. So that's what I don't want to do that. I already know that. So I don't want to be like, oh, I'm gonna, build this app and I'm gonna try to sell it to everyone. That's not my motivation. My motivation is I enjoy building apps for me to use. I mean, I finished one up yesterday, and I also build apps for specific needs that the solution doesn't exist that helps my client. So we build it. It's a lot less expensive than them, paying a developer, and maybe we'll just use it for that client. It's simple to do. And then, knock on wood, hopefully that we could use it for other clients as well, the same one. That's a bonus. And then that's lovable for the most part. The only time I really get away from that and use Replit is Replit just released a platform where you can actually do mobile apps now and publish them to the app store, the real app store. So no other platform does that. So you could publish mobile apps legit to the app store, and then very soon to the Google Play Store as well. So that's my go-to for that. But we do a lot. We do a lot of. I mean, I have two full-time N8N programmers. We do a lot on N8N, but my main focus, and you brought this up earlier, is to scale back on the N8N and use Agent Studio. I've been waiting
Yeah.
for some triggers to be released to the public. We've been messing with them. They just released a few this week, and you're going to start to see pretty much why. I think you'll see widespread, you know, adoption there. It's going to take a little time. People are not used to it. They're not sure. You know, it could do a lot for you. I'm using it right now, like automate social, like content generation. You could do, a ton of blog generation. There's just tons of things that you could do in there. Sky's the limit.
Uh, yeah. So I personally have a major FOMO missing out on Cancun event, the AI Unleashed that you and Fur are hosting. My son is starting, high school, and last year I missed out on a lot because I was traveling. So I have major FOMO. So, for people like me who are missing out on Cancun, can you touch upon little things that you are planning to do? Because in future, if you do AI Unleashed again, then definitely, we want to grab it first and plan our dates.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. I was just talking to Fur earlier today, and we were talking about next year already. It's a little premature, but
See, I told
the
you.
the it's a very unique event because I don't think anyone's really done anything like it. We're doing 90% hands-on, and it's all generated on not really having fun with AI. It's designed to show you how to make money with using AI, whether it be in your own business or for your clients. So that's the whole entire focus, is to do that. And it's also designed that you're going to build, at that event. Everything that we do, we're going to build there. And then you're going to go home with the skills that you need and the resources to continue to build and build upon those skills as well. So no one's really done a hands-on. So I think some people probably shied away from the event because of that. They like to go and hang out. There's really not going to be a lot of hanging out. We're going to be busy, and we're going to be building things. But at the end of it, you're going to have a lot of skills that when you walked in the door, you didn't have. So whether it be generating AI video to do your own stuff or your clients, whether it be doing N8N automations that currently high level doesn't have access to or doesn't do, we're going to show you how to do that. Um, some voice stuff obviously and some other AI stuff, but just so much even selling it, like how to sell it properly, that's going to be a module. There's just so much to do. We have so much crammed in just a short amount of time. It's it spins my brain spins because of the schedule so tight.
Yeah. So my next question was going to be, do you ever sleep, Michael?
A lot of people ask me that. I've got a very unusual sleep schedule these days. So, I'll go to sleep when we're done here. I'll go to sleep, and then I usually get up around 2, and then I work from 2 to around 6:30, and then I'll lay down for a little bit, and then I start my day at 8 because my team starts at 8. But I like getting up in the middle of the night because it's quiet, it's peaceful, and there's no interruptions. And I get more done during that time frame. So,
Yeah, in the
yeah.
brief time that I've known you, I mean, you finished publishing a book, you do these courses, and this amazing certification program that I missed talking about, the AI tech stack certification. I think that was the only course, I can say it out loud, no offense to anybody else who's created the course, but you actually put in so much thought with the questions in the quiz. It's not just a random generic one you just go, but you actually have to think about it. And it was scenario based to check the understanding. So I think I really loved and enjoyed doing that course. It was pretty much put together. I think that's how I see it. It fit all the pieces of the puzzle, because we all use AI as silos, like conversational AI, chat widget for somebody, voice AI for somebody. But I think I love the module about the smart websites, where all these pieces of puzzles you put together, and you can deploy it as one insane offer that's value add for the clients, and also puts a lot of money in your pocket too. So it's a win-win scenario how you positioned that particular module and the AI tech stack itself. I haven't done the other course. Jitin always does it first. He loves to do it. But yeah, so that was a great course. So any specific motivation, or did you get a request to do it on that, or was it your pure
So
interest?
High Level reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you be interested in developing what we call a tech? They called it back then a tech badge or whatever." And I said, "Well, I want to know what if you had the choice or to deploy something in a business to push out to other clients, what would be in that tech stack?" So obviously conversational AI, the voice AI, I use workflows because we use database reactivation that have AI in the workflow. And then, like you mentioned, like back it all up on the website, behind the scenes doing follow-ups, forms, calendar bookings, etc. So we put that program together to assist people because I think it's a really good offer, honestly. I mean, it's been really successful. I think they would do well with that. It could be used in like 99.9% of businesses. You could take that and put it in there, and they would be totally happy because you're gonna deliver results. And then Fur did a deep dive on the voice side. He just did A to Z on the voice course, and then I'm in the process right now of developing. Well, not developing. I'm wrapping it up, doing all the videos of it's a complete A to Z AI course for high level. So, it's kind of funny because I don't know if I'll ever be done because they keep releasing AI features when I didn't think I'm done. So I don't know how that's going to work out. So I guess I got to cut it off somewhere.
I
But
know. I
there's
think
more features than when I first started diving into that, it's like uh, there's so many more features than I even really, you start thinking about it. There's just so much like reputation management has AI, funnel builder has AI. I mean, it's on and on and on. I mean, everything's AI. So I'm gonna have to cut it off sooner or later because they want to publish it. But I think there's like 12. I think I have 12 different, modules on different
modules.
features of AI. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's
I think
pretty cool.
I've got so much questions, and I know you'll always be very generous with your knowledge, but I'm very mindful of the time. So if people would do want to get help from you, how can they approach you, and what kind of support do you provide? Do you provide one-on-one mentoring? Do you provide group coaching? Do you have any kind of membership that they can sign up to?
So there's a few things. First of all, if you just need to reach out and have a question, just hit me up on Facebook, Messenger, or whatever. I'll do my best. But, just give me like 24 hours because typically, I'm busy too. So, it's not gonna be sometimes it's not right away. Sometimes it is, it depends. You probably got a better shot. Like if you get up at 2 in the morning, there's not a lot of people around, I'll probably answer. But That would be one of the ways. Number two, check out my YouTube. It's really good. I mean, we try to do the latest and greatest with all the high level stuff. That's under my last name. It's Michael Reimer AI, and you'll see, the videos there. Her and I have the school group, and for that, I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but if you use our affiliate link, then you get in the school group for free. There's a payment option as well. And then Fur and I, actually, I think it's going to go out tomorrow. We have a boot camp that we're doing by request. We put that all together, pretty insane resources to get you kickstarted if you really want to do all this stuff. So it's a 12-week program, two nights a week, 12-week program, but more intense. But we'll hold you accountable and be available, if you have questions and things like that. But it's probably going to be released tomorrow.
And is it online?
Yeah, we're gonna push it out. So it's at hlunleash.com. You can find it there. So highlevelunleash.com. So hlunleash.com. And then I'm sure you'll probably see it in the feeds and things like that.
Yeah.
And of course I'll get you the info too.
Sure. So I will share all the links in the show notes below for people when it's live. I'm sure the offer will be live. And I'm sure, Michael, we will meet at a couple of high level events across the globe this year. I am super excited to see you
And
in
also,
person.
Priya, I forgot to tell you, I'm gonna put together a nice resource pack for everybody here too as well. So I'll get that to you. And then you can push that up with the notes as well.
Thank you so much. You're very kind. You're very generous always. So, Michael is giving us resources to a Google Drive, which he always does with lots of information. But the key is each one of you implementing it, because Michael can give you his entire hard drive. But if you're not going to take action, then it's meaningless. So, I think that's the key. Implementation is the key. So, step one, buy the book. This will be your biggest investment. I think that's the smartest investment to do. Go through it, and then Michael has all these other amazing offers, his boot camp, school group. You can join and get massive value and start your own AI agency. So, Michael, thank you so much for your time today. And this knowledge you've shared today is definitely going to help somebody who's aspiring to start, or who has been procrastinating, or just complicating inside their own brain. I think they needed this push to just get started and do the right thing. So thank you so much for today.
Thank you for having me for sure. And anytime for you guys for sure. No worries.